Shad, you do not sound like you're in a space station today.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what happened last time. My connection was brutal. I didn't even realize it. You guys were like, no, no, you're good. You're good. I listened back.
No, I said you sounded terrible, but
It was on brand with the solar system analogy that you gave about Jack Hughes.
I got into NHL Network the other day, and Kyle, he goes, Schneid, what are your thoughts on space? And I was like, but then I was like, you listen. He's like, yeah.
put me in
that's
an
a good.
absolute blender there.
And look, it got us John MacLean on the next episode.
It did.
All right, here on One Time All-Stars, we are very excited to introduce John MacLean, former Devil player, coach, had a lengthy coaching career after a great NHL career as a player, and he will be going into the Ring of Honor here in 2026 for the New Jersey Devils. John, thanks so much for coming on. We're happy to have you here.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. It's always nice to be recognized for something, and I'm looking forward to the night that the Devils are going to give me.
I find the history fascinating because the Devils moved to New Jersey in 1982, and then you were drafted early, sixth overall in 1983. What was, I mean, as a young kid, obviously you just want to get in the league, you want to play, but what was your mindset going to a brand new franchise in a new city with new amenities and new fans? Were you sort of had a little trepidation about that, or were you just excited to get to an NHL team and see what you could do?
Yeah, definitely excited to get to an NHL team, and coming off, out of junior and getting drafted, it was funny because Buffalo picked fifth, Jersey picked sixth, and Toronto was seven. So I was either going to be like a couple hours away from home and, or at home. I'm from Oshawa. So basically, so in between, and Jersey picks me at six. So, which was great. And, just the opportunity. I had no idea what New Jersey was all about. And, clearly we were not a very good team back then. But I knew there'd be a great opportunity for me to get a chance to play. And it worked out. A couple trying years, but it ended up working out, extremely well.
Going sixth overall, some guys, well, I could have gone higher. Where was I going? You went after what? 3 Hall of Famers, Barrasso,
yeah, that's right.
LaFontaine, Yzerman.
Yeah, I'm like, so 3, 4, 5 were Hall of Famers, right? So you got Patty LaFontaine at 3, Stevie Yzerman at 4, and Tom Barrasso at 5. So
You just can't really complain.
no, I can't complain. And then 1 and 2 were Brian Lawton, who was a high school phenom, and he went to Minnesota, and then Sylvain Turgeon ended up in Hartford. And, I think I went in the right spot. I'm happy. I'm not big on that anyways. I mean, back then it was just get to the NHL any way you can. And, fortunate for me, I have a late birthday. It was a November birthday. So I could have been drafted the year before, but since the cutoffs in September, I had another year, and it actually, worked in my favor because I matured. I had a great year in junior, a lot of great things. We went to the Memorial Cup. We had a great team in Oshawa. And then, so my draft ranking just kept going up and up as far as the playoffs kept going. So I was just happy. I didn't really care. Jersey, Winnipeg, Toronto, Buffalo, it didn't matter to me.
Well, you're a better man than I am, because going into my draft was 2004, and myself and Blake Wheeler were the 2 high school prep school kids, which were hard to get a read on. So we were both late first, early second. I kept hearing about how great Blake Wheeler was, and maybe I was a little more petty. I was like, I just want to go ahead of this guy. Like, I'm better than him. And I'm sitting at the draft, and 5th overall to Phoenix, Blake Wheeler. I was like, oh my! I was like, no, I'm not going ahead of that. So it ended up being the right pick because he's a hell of a player. But at the time, I was like, I'm going to be the best high school player here. Not even close.
But you guys knew about that stuff. We knew nothing. Like, we knew nothing about draft. We everything was face to face. It's like you meet everybody, which is not a lot of people in each organization. Now there's 50 guys at the table. There's maybe 10. 1 GM. There's not 3 extra GMs. There's so everything was so tight. It was like it was a little bit different. And yeah, it was a 21 team league at that point as well. So which was interesting. And the social media, as we say, hadn't really gone on. So I had no idea who anybody else was anyways. Like Cam Neely he went in that draft. We played him in junior. I played him in the Memorial Cup. Had no idea who Cam Neely is. Turned out to be a hell of a player, right? I went ahead of him, but he turned out to be a hell of a player. So it really doesn't matter at that point, but we didn't know any better anyway. So there was no comparing. Tommy Barrasso, I couldn't tell you who Tom picked him out
of Boxborough High School,
yeah.
Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah. So, but Tommy had a great career, and Patty LaFontaine, only knew about him. I played him in the Memorial Cup as well. So that's where you learn. You don't know where to follow. There's no computer to follow anybody on, so you just kind of just kept in your own little bubble and move on.
Speaking of your own bubble, like you were born and were you raised in Oshawa? Is
Yeah,
that
it
where you grew
was.
up?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you got to play for the Generals, and I mean, was that a thrill? I'm still not always up to date, and it changes, I guess, over the course of time, how that whole system works. Is it midget AAA right to them? Or did they own your rights? Did they draft you? How did you get the
Yeah.
opportunity to play on that junior team? And was that a huge goal of yours?
Great question, and yeah, I mean, listen, I played travel hockey all the way up. I played on the Oshawa team all the way up from 8 years old to 15. I got cut from the midget AAA team when I was 15. Where you play a year up, right? You're supposed to be able to play a year up. I got cut. Four other guys on my team made it, and I'm back and playing midget hockey, minor midget. So, but it was great. I had a hell of a year, and then I went from there. Then I got to play junior B, which would be my midget, my 16-year-old year, and I just kind of kept blossoming from there. And Oshawa was, again, I didn't care where I went, but I knew, Oshawa said, if you're there in the second round, we're taking you. Okay, thanks. And Peterborough was going to take me in right after. If they didn't take me, I knew Peterborough was going to take me, which would have been a good thing as well. But I did okay with my junior teammates and our team. But I never had goals. Like my goal was just, okay, the next team. I never got disappointed. I was, as I said, I was never the best player on my team growing up, but I just, I was very effective. Like us all, we all start out as centermen, and then, first year I get to junior B, they're like, okay, you're playing right wing. Okay, well, I didn't care. I'm like, but it worked out for me, and it's okay. Now you're a little freer. You're able to, the centerman has a lot of responsibility. A winger, you understand the game. It becomes simpler for you, and then I turned into a bit of a goal scorer in my junior B year, which was helpful and kind of helped me move on through my career, and I guess you could say I was never a disher. All my assists usually came from off the goalie's pads. So
Good play.
I mean, good as a shot, good as a pass off the pad.
Off the pads, never a bad play.
Yeah.
Sorry, Schneids, but goalies always guess, right? So
always just let it hit you.
You figure, okay, I don't think I got short side. I'll put it off his pad. You'll kick it out. The other guy will get it, but at least, or he may miss it too, right? You got a 50-50 chance. So I never shied away from shooting the puck.
So I mean, all those things, I think there's so much conversation now. You mentioned the internet and how it wasn't around, and you just went and played. There's so much conversation, and you coach, and you had kids coming through youth sports. You've seen sort of that landscape. I'm in it right now. I'm a 10-year-old that's fully entrenched in the youth hockey it's the same league I played in.
It's so different.
How do you get through it? Well, it is because
Yeah.
it's 4 teams per age group now, and there's a lot more money involved. But like, how did you get through to other parents when you're at the rink watching your son play, or whatever the situation may be? How do you communicate with them to let them understand, like, it's okay that the kid takes it seriously, and it's okay. We understand you're making a financial sacrifice for this and time and much, but th- none of this none of this really matters at 10, 11, even 12. Like your story is a great example of that. How do you get through to parents? Because I'm trying to do that right
But
now.
I think you guys understand, right? You guys both had great careers, and it wasn't easy for either one of you, right? Like you're
Right.
not you the NHL is about survival, right? So
Yeah.
now you go watch kids hockey, right? And you're going like that's how I did it. First of all, you go to the end of the rink and you go stand behind the glass, and maybe one or two fathers come up to you or whatever. So you try and stay away from it. But I always watched as like, okay, and you see the kids, oh my God, he got 4 goals today. This kid got 4 goals, and that guy, and nothing wrong with it, and you enjoy it. But I always watch it from a different perspective. I'm like, okay, that kid's got hockey sense. That kid's got hockey sense. Whether they get the results at those ages doesn't really matter. It's whether when you're watching the game, as you guys probably watch it as well, it's okay, where did he go on that situation? Well, clearly the play should have happened. He went to the right spot. Like that's how I always watch it. And I'm not a big believer in, they used to try, Pee Wee, they're going, we're doing video, you guys are doing it. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't need video for that. If he wasn't the third guy high, you tell him, say, hey, maybe there you should have. He has to make his own mistake, and then he'd see if he can pick up on that and go, hey, okay, just because little Jimmy went down and oh, he got a breakaway. Well, yeah, he got a breakaway because he didn't even check the guy who was getting the puck, and the guy fell all ass over tea kettle, and he's on a breakaway. He didn't play that situation right. He got lucky.
Right.
So that's how I watch it. And the parents come, and I'm like, hey, just relax. This is great. Let's enjoy it. And you know what? As we enjoy this, the only thing that's going to screw this great team up is you and me and that parent over there. It's the parents that screw the teams up. It's not the kids. The kids all want to play. They get it, but you got to find a way to enjoy letting them play and learn the game. We learned, like we always talk about, oh, we learned it on, we used to have a outdoor rink. My dad do one in the backyard, or, go to the park and they had one there, and you learn and you're like, okay, how do I get the puck? How do I don't get the puck? How am I going to survive road hockey today? There's a bigger kid, you get stuck, and do you come back out? You get stuck in the face, or you stick somebody accidentally in the face, and, you learn from that. And I'm a big believer. I'm a huge believer in that. From 9-year-old to 11-year-old is where you can teach them things, and then you have to let them go for a little bit, because the 12, 13, 14 year is a scary year, because you're going to have a 5'2" kid and a 6'3" kid, and you're going to go, oh, what, you got to let them kind of find their way, and they'll find the 5'2" kid, if he's got any hockey sense or smarts or whatever, he's probably going to end up 6 foot anyways, but he's going to learn how to play in those situations, and he's going to learn how to do it. So that's how I looked at it. Like I was the 5'2" kid. I'm like, okay, you got to figure this out here. How am I going to keep competing in that? And that's how I look at the hockey and the parents. And my dad was a coach, and he coached me at 9 years old. I had my two best coaches were probably 9 and 10. I mean, not 8 and 9 and 15. In between, it was like, hey, whatever. But the 8 and 9-year-old coaches taught you the fundamentals, and you learned them. And you kind of, the ones that, you play, the ones that learned it played all the way up through. The ones that didn't learn it, well, there'd be 3 new kids coming in next year. You try out, you don't make it, that type of thing. It's they make the decisions for everybody, because maybe they're not talented enough. Enjoy the game. Not everybody's going to end up in the NHL. We all get that. But college, if you can get to college, you can get to junior. I go, those are success stories just as much as us making the NHL, because the time and effort. Or even you get to a D3 school and you go, oh, I played there, great, and now you're running JP Morgan. It's like that's what hockey is for me, and for minor hockey is. And the parents seem to get away from it. And listen, I'm not a saint by any means. I've had my moments too with my boys, and I'm like, but work hard. But I always looked at, do you have hockey sense? Can you, and do you want to do it? It's not easy.
Yeah, you can't make them do it. That's one thing I've learned, is you still have to wait for them to want to do it.
And that's
you can only push so hard.
Yeah, and sometimes it's better to take it away from them for a little bit, to say, hey, okay, I'm making the decision now. Care if you can be mad at me, but go play lacrosse for a couple weeks. We don't need this spring hockey thing right now. My kids played spring hockey. I'm not saying they didn't, but it wasn't every weekend. There was times where it's like, okay, we're tired. We're going to the cottage here. We're going to play lacrosse. We're going to play baseball, whatever. So I think it's the balance is the hardest thing to find. But and even as much as the individual stuff's going on right now, the skillful hockey team never always wins. There's got to be some,
it's an epidemic, right? It's the focus is on, and I have no issue with it. Get better at your skills, work at your skills, do that. But if you can't put it into place,
no,
you're wasting time, and you're becoming worse.
Yes.
Every kid catches a puck, and it's 2 stick handles before a look or an attempt to even skate. Sometimes it's this habit. And I'm telling 10-year-olds now, stick handling is a virus. I've literally just chopped it in half. Been like,
which is great.
We do drills where you can't stick handle. and they still do. But it's like I mean, it's so slow.
Yeah, and the old like Jacques Leperrier used to say, "Oh my God, he mashed a potato so much, he had no play now." It's
That's
like going
right.
back and forth. It's like, and the game is about moving the puck, and I think that's where you know, with the red line, like the game's great. I mean, these you watch hockey, and these guys are phenomenal. But you see the good teams. Why are the good teams good? That the puck still moves.
It
They don't,
moves. It's
but
on
they
and
have
off their sticks.
players. They have skillful players. They hang on to the puck. You know, we get caught up in the beauty of the skill, which is great. But he had they had offensive possession time for 3 minutes that period. Yeah, but they only got one shot. Like who cares? Like I'm like, you have to. There still has to attack the net. There still has to be movement and that stuff. And there's time and place for everything. But I love your analogy for the 10-year-old team. They have to move. It's great. That teaches kids hockey. That's like, hey, your teammate, the puck, throw a puck down the ice. Okay, I'm gonna shoot the puck down to the end of the goal line. Anybody can beat it? No, there won't be a puck.
It's just so much to unpack there, just because there's a lot of great points. Because even at the American League level where I'm at, I'm doing some coaching with Bridgeport right now, and just talking to some people, and even getting up to that level, you can be the best player in junior or the best player in your college team, and when you're doing that, you're still kind of an individual player. You're just that much better than everybody else. And they say they find when guys turn pro, they have a really hard time playing within the confines of a team structure because you're just used to doing it yourself and you don't rely on your teammates as much. Now you need your teammates at this level and the next level of the NHL. And a lot of guys have a hard time understanding that or adapting that. And then when they can't do it, they have a hard time adapting their game. Like Brian, you were a great example of a high pick, a high skill guy, and you got to the league and you could do things, but then you realize quickly, if I'm going to survive and play a long time in this league, I need to do other things really well, kill penalties, block shots, win faceoffs, add the intangibles. And it just seems like there's not a disconnect, but it's hard to get through to kids sometimes who are super talented and really good and put up points and look great that, hey, there's a bigger picture here that you need to fit into this group of guys in order to A, win, and B, have more success the higher you go. And I don't know, if you saw that as a coach or you've coached at the highest levels and what you saw for young kids coming up.
You guys play with Brian and Steven Gianta?
Oh, yeah. Steve,
So
at least, yeah.
yeah, Gio, Brian was good. Like I mean, he was good. Very small guy, good, right? Stevie comes along, right? And this is not a shot at Stevie by any means. He was my cat. I coached him in Lowell and in Jersey, and I'm like, they're I remember talking. They call down, hey, who's ready to go? I go, Gianta. And they're like, oh well, you know what I mean. Like, well, it's Stevie, right? And I'm like, okay, works his ass off and he understands it. He does his job. Like you go up there, coaches in the NHL, they want guys that, do their job, understand the game. And that's what he did. He went up and he carved out a career for himself by, working hard, pucks in, pucks out, hit, using his energy. That's how everybody's like, oh, it's the NHL. Shouldn't you be toe dragging up and down the ice? No, those guys are few and far between. There's maybe 4 guys on each team that can do it consistently. And yeah, they'll have a couple giveaways at the end of the night, but their pluses are going to show up more than their
good outweighs the bad. Yeah, exactly.
So you need the survival thing about it. And you made a great point that these kids, they don't know how to do it. The NHL is the easiest league in the world to play in if you do your job. If you don't do your job, it's the hardest league because if you don't get that puck, if you're supposed to get the puck from the red line down to the other team's end or make sure it goes from your end out over the blue line, you don't do it, you're not lasting. You have to do the little things.
And it goes right back to what you said about the hockey sense at 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Do they have hockey sense? Stevie's a great example. We were line mates actually at BC.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't sophomore year for me. He was a junior, he was a year above me. Didn't start out great. Then I was put on the power play and I was on the third line that ended up being pretty good. Then they wanted me to take a jump and it just wasn't really going great. And they put me on a line with Chris Collins, who was on fire that year. He had 30 something goals and top 3 finals for the Hobie Baker. But the line, like what made the line go was Stevie. Everywhere he was my right winger. He was always where he was supposed to be. If I jumped up with Collins on a 2-on-1 or whatever, he was always he played a lot of center, So he was the low forward if he had to be in the D zone. He covered for us. If a puck goes into his corner, he's the first guy on it. Like if you look at his hockey DB, it's not going to wow you. And no one talked about him other than the fact that he's Brian's little brother and he's not as good as Brian. And I can't tell you, like, there's probably two or three line mates I remember as well playing with that did so much to help my game be, it was just easier as a centerman. I'm like, the next year he wasn't there anymore. And again, senior year, I went back for my senior year and I'm like, this is not as easy as it was last year. I should be better now and it's harder. I'm missing Stevie. And then we figured it out eventually. But man, the guy, and then he's in the NHL and you see him and it's like, I never really understood like when just rooting for other guys as much as when I saw Stevie make it and play in the NHL. And I'm
Right.
like,
Do you remember when he like sorry to interrupt, but he left BC that spring to sign with Lowell and his like first game in the American League, he had a hat trick. And we're like, I don't think he had a hat trick at BC his entire
no,
career. And he went to the American League and scored three. We're like, what the heck?
I got 9 goals a year in 40 games in the
Yeah.
college. And then he like, and you just like couldn't be happier for a guy because of how great a teammate he was. And it's not like he just got it on the ice, Johnny. He got it everywhere. And that's probably why he was your captain, right?
Yeah, no, they're a tremendous family, right from their parents on. But yeah, but you don't get it, right? Like to my point about hockey sense, you don't get where you get unless you have it, unless you understand and you want it, that this is what I gotta do. Some of the guys get stubborn. They're like, well, okay, well, I got 30 goals in college, or I got 50 in junior. Really? That guy over there, John Madden. John Madden led the league in college hockey with 100 points or so. Or he led college hockey and then he led the AHL with 100 points. Great career, right? For Selke and everything, third line center. And I say that like it's something to sniff at, right? 2-time Stanley Cup champ, but third line center, like you're saying, that's a great career. Like he had an awesome career, but he was an awesome player before that. But his hockey sense was off the charts. That he understood. Okay, well, I'm not playing ahead of Gomer, right? Gomer's better. Scott Gomez is phenomenal talent, so I'm not playing in that role. But I can play in this role where I'll take advantage of every guy. I'll use my hockey sense and my skill to take advantage of every guy. I'll get my offense when I need it. I'll shut them down. Everybody be happy. I'll get my money. I'll get my cups. I'll get my Selke, the whole thing, right? And he had a tremendous career, but it all comes down to that hockey sense and how you understand and the want to stay where you are. It's a good league. It's a fun league.
Yeah. Remember him putting Joe Thornton in a blender? Mike Rupp talks about like that
Yeah.
John Madden and what he was. He talks about him like he talks about Hall of Famers. He's like, that's how good and how important this guy was. 2003, he's like, I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Hey, Guy Carbonneau's in the Hall of Fame,
Right.
Yeah.
right? And he's same guy. Guy Carbonneau led the Quebec Junior League in scoring. Goes to Montreal. You're playing with Bob Gainey. This is your job now, and he ends up being a third. And I'm saying this facetiously, third line center, right? It's in the Hall of Fame. Couple cups, 3 cups. That's how it goes. If you want it, it's there, but want's not the only thing you need to get there. You have to have your mind. Either you're so skilled and you want to play, or your hockey sense and you want to survive, and then you find your spot.
Can I ask you this about what you're saying? There's a certain humility involved with the Guy Carbonneau's understanding roles and John Madden understanding roles. And, for me, it was pretty blunt playing for Torts. It was just like, it's this, or
Yeah,
head up the
Sit
road
down.
an hour and a half. So like
Yeah.
as a player, that made it easier for me because I'm like, well, okay, I'll just do this until I can get more opportunity and whatever. It ended up being sort of my role for my career, which I'm thankful for, and I'm forever thankful to Torts for it. But keeping that confidence in your own ability, but also having the humility to understand, all right, this is what they need me for, and this is what's going to make our team better. It's not like if you're the guy for that role, how do you, as a coach now, how do you get players to understand this is your role and this is what we need you to do? It's like what Dano would say about when Lou told him about the
Piano,
symphony. He's like,
piano players.
you're
Yeah,
not a
exactly.
piano player.
Yeah.
How do you get through to
I can
players?
do it verbatim. I know the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it goes hand in hand. You were lucky to play for Torts. I love Torts. You know, he's very straightforward. That's who he is, but he's honest, right? And what do always players say? Well, you know, we want to know where we stand, kind of thing. Okay, well, you're not always going to like what you hear, but I always used to say, okay, do you want the coach speak, or do you want the truth, kind of thing? Here's the deal. Like, do you want me to tell you, hey, you're doing well, maybe we do this, or you want me to say, hey, this is what you got to do. You got to do it. You got to find a way. Listen, I wasn't a first line right winger when I entered the NHL. Like, I mean, I was happy to be there. And then I'm like, we're practicing one day. Max McNabb, it's like 83 or 84. He goes, we've lost games, and he's like, he comes down, he talks to us on the bench, he's yelling, and he goes, for Christ's sakes, MacLean, will you get rid of that friggin' belly button shot? Every time you shoot the puck, you shoot it right at the goalie's belly, And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize, he's like, I don't care. Just shoot it somewhere else. He goes, I'd sooner you miss the net to hit the belly button. It ends the play the whole time. I go, understood. But that was his simple way of going, like, hey, we drafted you, you're a shooter, you're a scorer, but you're hitting the goalie in the belly button. So, hey, work on, you understood back then you didn't have as many coaches because you only had 2 coaches on the bench type deal. So the vets they'd laughing and joking with you, but like, hey, come on, let's work on the shot here. Come on, let's go. You got to get your shot off quicker, type deal. Get back to that. And that's kind of where I say it, as much as the coaches help you, you say Torts told you straight ahead. Well, you didn't say, Torts, you're a goalie, you play goalie. Okay. What do you know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, easy,
right?
easy,
Like,
easy.
it was very,
We know things too.
You said, hey, okay, I get it. I want to be here. This is my dream. Let's go.
Johnny, I want to tie a couple things.
I just caught that.
Hey, it's all good. Hey, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to take a beating.
Wasn't a goal.
Yeah, right. I give it to goalies all the time, and
He does.
My dad was a goalie.
Oh, he invented the butterfly,
and he had also, his claim to fame is he invented the butterfly in Quincy High School. But the perspective that they have, if I can't figure something out, I'm going to go ask a goalie, because I played forward, I played center, wing, and D. And I'm like, all right, explain this to me now. So we do need the goalies.
We do.
So
we're like bees. You need us.
Yeah,
for
they
some
just
things.
stand there all game and have their judgments. Shut up.
Now we got past the goalie stuff. John, I just we talked about a couple things that I kind of want to tie in together. We talked about knowing your role, IQ, youth sports, kids. I mean, I know it's probably beat to death, but with your son Kyle, I played with him in Bridgeport, and we didn't have the best teams, and we had a lot of kids that we just talked about who were draft picks and high skill, but came in and they didn't understand when it's 3-2 and you're ahead with 5 minutes left, you can't toe drag at the blue line and turn the puck over. I just didn't quite get it. And I was an older guy, and I'd speak up when I could. I didn't want to, beat the out there, try to tell them what to do, but I try to explain, hey guys, like, there's a time and a place. You got to understand what they're looking for. But always, your son Kyle got it though. He was a 3rd, 4th line guy with us in Bridgeport, and you look around the team and all these skilled guys. But I'd sit there and tell the coaches, like, I think if anybody's going to play in the league, it's going to be Kyle, because he knows his role. He kills penalties. He's good on faceoffs. And sure enough, he got there. And, you got a chance to coach him. So I was kind of getting your take. I know, again, I'm sure you've talked about it a lot, but if I had my kid in the NHL, I can't tell if I would be like so proud and try to do everything I could to have him succeed, or like be extra hard on him to make sure that people didn't think I was playing favorites. Or what was that interaction like? What was the feeling like to watch your son play and not only have him play in the league, but be able to coach him?
Well, totally proud of him, 100%. He's worked his ass off, done everything, never drafted, free agent, the whole thing, whatever. So he's done everything, it's all on him. Not as much fun to coach as you would think.
Sounds like a nightmare to me.
It wasn't a nightmare. The guys are great. That team.
Yeah.
I do. The veterans there, and they'd laugh.
Yeah, good culture.
It was harder than I thought it was going to be on him. Me, I'm like, the guys, Casey or Marty or, Cal and those guys, you're talking, and then they're like, we forget that he's even related to you, kind of thing. But it wasn't as much fun for me. We got through it. It wasn't a great year, and to be honest with you, it's better that I'm his dad than his coach. And it's the way it worked out. It wasn't planned by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't planned. It had no bearing on anything, him being there or anything like
He
that.
earned it. He earned the call. Like, he worked hard and played well for us in
But
Bridgeport.
it
He
wasn't.
deserved it.
But it wasn't. It wasn't as great. I think for us as it went on, and I knew I had to get out. That it wasn't gonna. Either way. It wasn't lasting after that year. And it's funny because the season's over, right? And then barely talked to him the whole year, right? Barely. Like, I talked to his girlfriend. I go, Emma, what's everything okay? Or whatever, and it's never good if you're sleeping with the player's mother, right? Can't do anything.
Thought about it that way.
Well, it's good for one guy.
So, but he's pretty stoic anyways, but as soon as the season was over, like a couple weeks go by, and then he's actually calling me again, which was great, and so dads play an important role at certain points in kids' careers, right? Mothers always do as well, because they're usually the ones going to the rink with them, traveling every hockey tournament known to man. But
shout out moms.
Yeah, jeez.
Dads kind of have that a different perspective that, sometimes it's a kick in the ass. Sometimes it's like, all right, it doesn't need a kick in the ass. It needs to, everything's fine. Just take a breath. It'll work out, kind of thing. So, he's on his way. He's doing well. We're happy to see him play all the time. And you know what? As you guys know, it's year to year. Life, just keep collecting. Try and get that pension. Hell of a lot better than you guys' pension's a hell of a lot better than mine is. So
yeah, it's nice. We don't have to coach for 17 seasons. Hopefully, I might, because I got 5 kids. But
you'll be coaching forever, bro. You're gonna be in a rocking chair coaching.
Hey, Johnny Mac, while we're on the family topic, we all know you scored over 400 goals in the NHL, a lot, obviously, with the Devils. I think the one that stuck out to me personally most, because when I saw this highlight, I was like, dude, they don't make him like Johnny Mac anymore. It was in 1997. You'll probably tell the story better than I would, but it was a penalty shot, your first ever penalty shot, and it was against the Hall of Famer Dominic Hasek. But can you just let everybody know what led up to that moment? Because your day, I don't even know if you slept that day or what, but there's a special time for your family.
It was funny because it's February 26th, we're playing in Long Island. And so we're playing the Islanders that night. And I go out, and cell phones had just come out, the Motorola, big flip phone kind of thing. And Jay Pandolfo is up with us, a Boston guy. I know he went to BU. You guys are BC guys, right? So, so Pando, it's a great kid, great hockey player, had a great career. So I'm going out for warm up, and my wife Adrian, she's kind of like she's probably gonna go soon. So I go, Pando, that effing phone rings, you let me know, okay? Because messages or whatever, you're not gonna get it. So I come off after warm up, and Pando goes, back, your phone rang. I go, are you shitting me right now? And Pando goes, no, it's ringing. It was ringing. I said, okay. I went, of course, I called. Adrian goes, I'm in labor. So I'm like, okay. So I, of course, tell Lou, and Lou. Pando gets in the lineup for me, which is great. I don't think he came out of the lineup after that, which is good for him. He had a great player, great.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So, and I go, Lou, Adrian's in labor. I have to get back. He goes, okay. He goes, well, no Uber back then. So we had the bus there. So it's me and the bussy, Heinze. He buses me back to St. Barnabas. I'm in the bus back to St. Barnabas. I get there about 10 o'clock. I think the Grammys were on or something. Adrian's watching the Grammys with somebody. Her mother got her to the thing. So we're there. I'm there for the birth of my son, John Carter. So next night we're playing Buffalo. So I think John Carter was born about 2-3 in the morning, something like that. Go home, get up, go to the morning skate. Lemaire's there, and Lemaire's like, oh, you want to take the day, you don't have to. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm playing. You never wanted to get out of the lineup, right? Never. And you never, as a player, you never want to make the decision for the coach. I always felt like, make him make it. If he wants to take you out, he takes you out. But I'm not giving you the out, right? He goes, okay, you're in. I said, so I come my first shift of the game. I pop out on the ice. He didn't even start me, by the way. But so my first shift, I'm like third shift in. I pop out, and the puck's turned over in our zone. I don't even know how. It must have been a bad change. Maybe Randy Mack did a bad change, or probably Pepe Lemieux. And I jump out,
Throwing him under the bus.
I jump out, get a puck right up the middle, breakaway. Bobby Bugner, who I didn't know Boogie at the time, but coached with him in San Jose, great man. And so I get this breakaway. Bobby trips me, and penalty. Steve Walkham, maybe that's what they made him go do the refereeing thing, get out of the game. Right away, he goes penalty shot, and I'm like, oh Jesus! I come back to the bench and fire. I'm like, holy Christ! It's almost surreal that I'm getting a penalty shot, and it's again, and he was always good, but I mean, Buffalo, he was like really good. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And, I know I can't deke him. And I know he's probably thinking, right hand shot coming down, I'm going to go glove side high. So I make one little quick move, and I go 5-hole on him, and it just kind of hits, it sneaks in, it goes in, and I bang boards. I look to the sky, kind of thing, thank you type deal. And it's funny, back at the Meadowlands Continental Arena, whatever you want to call it, Brendan Byrne, I was there for all three of them. I knew where everybody sat. So I knew where all my buddies were. And I'm like, given this one, I knew where the wives section, the whole thing kind of thing. So, and then I scored the goal. Have no idea what I did the rest of the game.
I was going to ask you, in a moment like that, this happened to me on some occasions. If I got a goal early, I was good. I'm like, you can take me out now.
Yeah.
Because it's not getting better than that.
No, exactly. So I was like, I had no idea what, and Lemaire was good at managing your ice time, if you will. So if I wasn't doing anything, I probably wasn't playing a lot anyway.
Like the George Costanza, just leave on a high note. So
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Exactly right. Yes, exactly.
You're already the headline. Like,
yeah, can we go down from here?
Yeah, exactly.
And you proved that the dad strength is real, right? The day that the kid is born, early in the morning, then boom.
Yeah. So it was pretty exciting. It was a good night. Good night.
We could talk forever, but we got a couple more for you here.
Well, I mean, there's, it's a big deal that we're doing. I mean, we did 4 Nations last year. We did Olympics. I just want your take on it. You won a silver. You played at Worlds, right? And you want a silver there. Obviously, it sucks to lose, but then I don't know. They told me as time goes on, I still wish we won gold in 2021, but I have a bronze medal from Worlds. It was awesome. Just, I don't know, your excitement level, being around the game so long, seeing the boys back at the Olympics. Are you excited about it? If there's a rink without a hole in the middle of it.
It's tremendous that these guys get an opportunity. This opportunity really didn't come along. It came in my career, but, I wasn't, the Canada Cup, I went to, in 91, I think I went to training camp in the Canada Cup. I got cut. No problem. I mean, a lot of good hockey players, right? The Keenan's coaching, the whole thing. They won. You're playing the Russians. So that was kind of the goals for us back then, was the Canada Cup type deal. Those things. The Olympics really weren't an option. And then, they had the one year where, as I'm tail ending, Gretz and those guys, but I wasn't at that level to be considered for that. So these guys getting the opportunity in the prime of their career and focusing in on it, like your generation focuses in on, and I think it's 1980. I'm like, well, I'm playing like 83. I'm in the league, so it wasn't really like, oh my God, I wish I could go to the Olympics kind of thing. I'm like, it was Olympics in '84. Kirk Muller went for Canada. I'm like, well, I'm not going to the Olympics. I'm trying to make money here. Playing. He wasn't drafted yet, but you know what I'm saying. So that it just started to come in where the Olympics, and then they didn't allow the pros, so it wasn't as big a deal for us. And then the point on the World Championship, I think that just grew, right? You got a bronze medal, like, I mean, as I got a silver, and you're like, I never really had it. And you talk to people, and they're like, and it's more reflection on the end of your career. You're like, okay, how many people have bronze medals from Olympics or World Championship, right? Or even a silver medal. I mean, or gold. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people. Everybody hears about the golds and that, but a lot of countries or guys, you know, are proud of that, and that's something. It's an accomplishment, and it is an accomplishment that you're able to play on a representing your country at some point. Right? You go, you know, the World Championships were only the teams that got beat out. So, you know, either didn't make the playoffs at that time. You're like, okay, well, we'll go over a couple weeks to, you know, have some fun. It wasn't as serious as it is now, but, you know, it's nice. Yes, I do have the silver medal hanging up now. It was in my parents' basement probably the last 40 years. I had no idea, right? That didn't really, you know, but now I'm like, okay, I'll put it up, you know. It is a cool thing, you know. Wow, you got a silver medal. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think about it that way. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we lost. It's not a gold. And, you know, the World Juniors, like I played in the World Juniors. It was just starting to come, you know, we may have been the worst World Junior team ever to go, but we didn't medal at all. So it wasn't great, but Mario didn't come. Mario wanted to break the record in the Quebec Junior League, so he didn't come.
Come on,
that might have helped you a little bit.
Would have helped. He would have helped.
That's the first bad thing I've ever heard about Mario.
Selfish.
I think they didn't play him the year before, so he was a little upset. I think.
Oh,
I don't know. Whatever it was, he would have been helpful. Probably might have got at least would have medaled, I'm sure. But a lot of good players. So that stuff, it's exciting for these guys. I'm glad they're doing it. They deserve to do it, and I'm glad they're doing it in the prime of their career.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting, but I still think that the Four Nations stuff is more exciting hockey because it's hockey. It's the hockey that we know. I thought that was great last year that Canada, US going at it. You know, you would like it to be Six Nations. It's not, but the Four Nations thing. I think when you can get the high level guys playing in North American hockey with North American NHL rules, I think it's incredible.
I'm looking forward to all of it. I can't wait for that. Again, like Brian said, as long as the rink doesn't have a hole in it or it's not a mini hockey rink. But Johnny, I wanted to circle back. We touched on your play style for a bit there. And, you know, Matt, you mentioned 400 goals, over 400 goals, over 1,300 penalty minutes too. And you were a power forward. You had some seasons in there, 40 goals, 100 PIMs. It's not that it's a dying breed, but I love that style of play. I love the Tom Wilsons, the Tkachuk brothers. Mathieu Olivier in Columbus might be one of my favorite players. And even the edginess, the gamesmanship. I think, Matt, you pulled a clip that Tie Domi said you had the best chirp he'd ever heard in his career about getting traded from New York to Winnipeg. I've been to the Palomino Club in Winnipeg, by the way. Booty shaking Mondays. So anyway, I just
shaking Mondays.
I was 21.
That's that AHL schedule. You got nothing
I was
to do on
21, man.
Monday.
Yeah, you got Mondays. You played at 3-3.
Well, China Club, that was the big night at China Club too, was Monday night.
That's right. That's right. Industry night. So anyways, I just wanted the gamesmanship, the chirping, the mixing it up, you know, kind of being a shit stirrer while also going out and scoring 40 goals and dropping the gloves. And it's just, I want you to talk about like what that era was like that you played in, how important that was, what you see today. Is there a place for it? Do you want more of that from guys, or does the game just evolve and you sort of have to accept it and go with it? Because I just want to hear your mindset, and I just feel like it's a bit of a lost art these days, and that only certain guys have it. And I like the way those guys play, and I think you can win with those guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with all that. And listen, let's not get too ahead of ourselves with my penalty minutes. Remember,
a lot of hooks and holds.
We didn't have the internet. We didn't have, you know, things. The only way people knew you were playing was when you got in the sports section and they looked at the results from the game, and they put all the penalties down and they put all the goals down. So if you want your buddies to know you're playing, you either not scoring, you better get on the score sheet somehow.
I thought about that.
He got in a fight, or he took a 10-minute anything just to get some PIMs, which at least you got on the score sheet in the Toronto Sun the next day, so they knew you were playing. At least they couldn't watch you, but yeah, the game is, you know. And I think you see it more in the playoffs, and that's what it comes down to. You see a little bit more of the edginess and the chirping of guys, and the pushing and shoving. That the gamesmanship of it was, you better know who you're having the gamesmanship with if you're pushing and shoving, because you're going to have to go, and you better know that beforehand. And you know, you always, before every game, it was like, okay, because you didn't know who everybody was. Somebody go, hey, this kid's from Ontario. It says he's tough. Is he a righty or a lefty? Dano goes, he's a lefty. He goes, I beat him up, and I
At a
beat him
bus
up.
stop in Regina.
Yeah, Melville. I fought him when I was 12 in Melville. He's a lefty, kind of thing. You do the whole thing. So you always go, okay, the pecking order. What's the pecking order here? Okay, I'm not in the first five, but maybe I'm 7 to 10. Okay, who are those guys in 7 to 10? Anybody know these three guys ever fight? So you always chirp. You knew who was on the ice all the time. I don't think guys know who's on the ice all the time. It drives me crazy. I'm like, do you not before the face-off go, huh? Okay, that guy's stepping up. That D out there stepping up on me. I played against Kasperitis. I'm like, oh Christ, every rim he's coming down to take your head off. So you either better turn and get your stick in his face or an elbow up because he's running you over, right? Like, so you knew all the time. Scotty Stevens, hey guys, you cut across the middle, Scotty's going to step up and kill you, right? And that's these guys. The awareness. I think the awareness was more of our education of looking at the sheet, going, okay, this guy's playing tonight, that guy's playing tonight, going to Philly, okay, these guys are going to be, you got to watch these guys. If you're gonna have to fight in Philly, you better pick who you're fighting because you don't want them to pick, right? So you better
Yeah.
somebody that you can handle type deal. So that's kind of how it went, and it's evolved. The chirping's there, the pushing and shoving there, but I don't believe it's the same thing because then they stop and talk, and I'm like I don't get like there's
Get a
no
beer after the game, maybe, but not on the ice.
yeah, like
Yeah.
so it's different, right? It's different. You gotta it's a fine line. The game is better than it's ever been. You're not getting, I don't like the brawls or anything like that, but fighting every once in a while, but you need to be aware who you're fighting and when you're fighting. So there's these guys that you go through and you're like, certain aspects guys get it, some guys they're learning it, and it is a learned thing. I mean, not everybody has to fight, but cross-checking guys in front of the net, okay, cross-check, that's what I do, right? You're not coming in here 1 2 3 1 2 3, okay, fourth time he's not coming back, he's going to take another route. So I think they learn it as they feel more comfortable in the league, and no different than learning how to play in the league. I think that's an asset to learn as well.
No, I just wanted to go on that, like, because I remember from age whatever 10 till even in college, Jerry York yelling at me if I'm even mouthing back to a guy. I get to pro and it's in April, right? Everybody's doing their fun senior spring, and I'm, in the American League trying to become a pro. And, Riley Armstrong, Colby's little brother, we're skating up the ice together. He just turns and punches me in the face. And he's a little guy. And I was just like, what the hell? And I think like, oh, I can't retaliate. And I get back to the bench and Mark Morris is our coach and he grabs me and he's like, you just made us all look so soft. And I'm like, wait, so you're telling me I could just grab that guy? And he's like, I'm saying you have to. Because now, like, so anyways, we kept playing and I, tried to get him back. But he was not stupid. He had been a pro for a couple of years and he wouldn't let me near him then. But
Yeah,
he got his lick in. I didn't. I was
yeah.
seething for like a decade after that at this guy.
It's
And
it
as
is a,
things,
it is a learned thing, right? It is a
oh, 100%. But I
happens
worry
in the
now.
NHL. Yeah, it's
My
like
worry now is like you see the success of Florida and in particular Marchand and his career and what he's doing still and a Kachuk and these guys and they're so advanced at it with getting under and I'm not criticizing them at all. I think the skill that they have to do it was never in my bag in terms of how much they could chirp it and then they could inflict pain too and then they skate away and leave you just in a pretzel. Guys are going to emulate that because I think at the end of the day, guys nobody really wants to fight.
oh,
Is it going to turn into this little like,
and the
is
guys
everybody going to be doing that? I mean, at some point you got to throw a fight because Pete DeBoer said it. He's like, if you don't have that, you can't win.
yeah, yeah, and the guys that do like to fight, stay away from them.
Yeah. Yeah. They're the crazy ones, the guys who enjoy it.
The one's looking for one.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
But
No, no, no. How are you, sir?
yeah, No, they get the game within the game. There is a game within the game. They get the game.
Oh, it's crazy. Sorry, Matt, what were you saying?
No, I'm happy that you guys all just said that because it kind of ties into that question that I was thinking about, which was in 2015 when Ty Domi did say on Sportsnet that you had the best chirp that he's ever gotten on the ice. Did you get wind of that at that time, or did you know already? And if not, what was your reaction? Because that dude obviously talked a lot.
So I remember like sitting in Winnipeg in the old building there, right? And I'm like, he had just got traded from the Rangers, and we played the Rangers. And rivalries, right? We used to play the Rangers 8 times a year.
No.
So many times.
You know, it's going to be, you're going to get some heated, right? And he's always going. So, and I remember he's sitting there and he's pushing and shoving somebody on our team. And so I go, hey, you know, the China, glad to see the China, whatever I said, but, you know, staying, how much better is the Palomino Club than the China Club? Whatever I said or however I said it. But as soon as I said it, I bent over and tied my lace. Kirk Muller's sitting beside me. So he's like, he goes, now I get back up. He thinks Molly said it to him. And Molly ends up in Toronto with him, and Ty's a nice guy. And, you know, Molly ends up in Toronto with him. And of course he's like, you know, and it wasn't me. But thank God Ty never took it out on me. He's a tough man. They're like to fight. So
I was saying that's the guy.
Yeah, guys, you get a little extra room too, but it was funny. But Kirk was like, and if you know Kirk, he sometimes he has trouble, you know, not smiling at everything. And so he's like kind of laughing, you know, he's laughing at me, but basically I'm going down like this. Domi's looking straight at him.
Did you do that on purpose? Did you hide on purpose, or did you just have?
Oh yeah,
100%. Skates all tied up. You're like, oh, I got to retie it.
It was perfect timing. It couldn't have worked out any better.
And I don't know about you guys, but Ty Domi, he's just always popping up on my social media feed. Like he's at a Rangers game, he's at a Maple Leafs game, he's at like a party or whatever it is. But
his phone, like his contacts, I gotta see what this guy. Yeah,
he's everywhere. So that being said, this is a question to all three of you. We could go around, but can you give us all one fun story from your playing days? Because Cory, you said before you got the tail end of the social media game, or at least like when it first started at the tail end of your career. Boyle, you're obviously everywhere right now, and MacLean, you too. Fans want to get closer to you guys and know some fun stories. So
I'll go first. It wasn't me, but there was a guy, and I can't say names. This guy is playing, I think, still. So we had a West Coast trip for the Rangers, and we went to we were playing against Anaheim a couple days later, and Slats had this house in Palm Desert, and we were all like playing golf. Half the team was playing golf, half the team was in the pool for the day, just kind of chilling. This is later into the season, after the trade deadline. And we had a day on the course. It was unbelievable. Tons of fun. Guys, you know, we had a few beers. It was great. But then we had to go back to Slats' that night. So nobody was really that crazy. And apparently this course never saw a bunch of hockey players playing golf, taking it easy. I can't imagine if it was like a vacation where we didn't have to play in a couple of days, because you know, we had the dinner at Slats' house. It was great. We go to practice the next day, and Torch comes in the room for a meeting and just like lights us up. We're like, we got a call. You drank a lot of beer. You're flying around in golf carts. I'm like, well, we were flying around in golf carts before we had a sip. Like, this was fun for us.
This is normal.
Keep in mind, you're our coach, and we didn't have to see you that day. So like, we were gonna have some fun. Anyways, fast forward, we ended up playing. We did all right in Anaheim. Then we play the next night in San Jose, and we end up beating them. And that's when they were wagging. And after the game, he's like, "There's a curfew at 11:30," and we're like, "What? We've never had a curfew in our lives. What are you talking about?" He's like, "I'm pissed at you for that shit you guys did at the golf course." I'm like, "We saw you that night." He's like, "I don't care. Curfew 11:30." And then Sully's in the room, or in the lobby of the Valencia in San Jose, like looking at his watch. It's legit like 11:29. But we went from the game to that little Irish bar around the corner and had as many beers as we possibly could at 11:29. And then we went into our room, and we had Brian McCabe there. He had it all set up for us. Great veteran guy. It was his last year. We got him at the deadline. and one of our players went off with one of their players. So ends up he gets brought back like in the San Jose player's arms, knocks on a teammate's door, and is like, "This guy's yours." Anyways, we fly home the next morning. He wakes up from the 6 hour flight, looks at all of us, and goes, "Where am I?" No shoes. No, he had shoes. No belt, no jacket, no tie, no luggage, no phone, no wallet, no passport. He just buttoned his shirt up and got on the team bus, managed to get on the plane. Brandon Dubinsky handed him some sunglasses. He shuts it. He wakes up. We're in New York. He's like, I gotta make some phone calls. I gotta go buy a phone. Like, and we won the game in San Jose. It was great. But I just was like, see what happens when you do a curfew? Can't do a curfew.
No curfews.
Treat boys like boys. They're gonna act like boys. You got to treat them like men.
Johnny, speaking of curfews, I got to ask you, I heard rumors that like back in the 90s, Lou had a curfew and that he would have autograph seekers outside the hotel that were actually getting your autograph to check when you came in the hotel. Was that stuff kind of true about Lou?
That's the Scotty Bowman one.
Scotty Bowman, okay.
Scotty Bowman. That's Scotty Bowman. He used to do that to the Canadians, and it probably came out of Jersey because Larry and and Jacques they would tell the stories from when they played that that's how he would do it. He'd have the guys would come in and he'd have somebody sign and he but that would if Lou had a curfew when he did have a curfew he would check.
Oh yeah. I kind of heard that when I got there. It's like, oh, there's a curfew, and I was like, is this a real curfew or is it like a fake curfew? And guys are like, do you want to find out? I was like, not really.
When they say curfew, you were getting checked. He was pretty strict on those things, but he freed up. You played for him. It's like the stories that come out like, oh, he's so hard. I'm like, he's players first, and he's very it's very easy because it's so cut and dried. Like, okay, like when we played, I mean, back when he came in 87, I think 88, and he put some structure in, sport coats. We were great story, right? So you guys probably never had to bus anywhere, right? You never had to bus from, Hartford was in the league, so we play in Hartford, so we play a game, then we're playing Hartford the next night. Say it's Friday night, we play the Rangers, then we got a bus to Hartford to play Hartford the next day. So we're busing, right? And no matter the plane or a bus, you had to leave the plane and bus with your suit and tie on. So we bused. This is like I think it was his first year that Lou took over, and we're busing from Jersey to Hartford, 2 hour trip, right? Nothing's open in Hartford anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? But technically you're not supposed to have any beer on the bus. Of course you have beer on the bus, whatever. That stuff always happened whether you had it or you didn't have it. Getting off the bus, we're in traffic going to George Washington Bridge, so a 2 hour trip turns into a 3 hour trip. So one of the guys decides, well, fuck, I had my sweatpants on, I'm just going to keep my sweatpants and my t-shirt and put my sport coat over it. Lou won't say a word. Now you've been with Lou, Brian. I don't know if you've had
I had him in Toronto.
Hey, yes, that's right. You had him in Toronto. So he's like, I'm just going to put my sport coat on. I'm going to leave my track pants on, this and that, trying to be funny, right? We're like, okay, you do it, whatever. Of course, Lou's the last guy to always take the elevator up. Doesn't matter if he's the first guy off, he ain't going up. He's going to wait and make sure everybody, and that's sometimes it's to watch. Sometimes it's like he wants his players to get their rest before anybody, so he'll hold the elevator for you if you need it to be. So he gets off. Of course, he's trying to be funny, right? It wasn't so funny, right? Lou's like, don't challenge him on, you don't challenge him. He has his rules, and that's the way it was. Needless to say, the guy tried, and he's a good player. I wouldn't say he was a good player. He was a character guy that did a lot of hard things, but somewhat replaceable too. So if you find somebody that you're somewhat replaceable, shortly thereafter he was replaced, unfortunately.
Oh God.
It was
I think
the next game, and then it was boom, you're done.
And Johnny, to talk about Lou's rules, like you hear all that, and hey, it's not that hard. You just got to follow the rules, and you're fine. They're not that many. They're just you just do it. Right. But I think part of it too is, to your point, is he wanted to see who was going to buy in. He wanted to know, are you going to be on board, or are you going to fight me on this? And if you're not a part of this, then we're not going to keep you here. We're going to find somebody else who will be. And I think it was almost like a litmus test for him just to see, who's going to fall in line and be a part of the team and who's going to do their own thing. And we might get rid of you if you're replaceable, if you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I also remember hearing Johnny, you said in an interview before too, where it's like he's making it easy for everybody. Here's what you need to wear. Here's what you need to do. Like he's making it easy for the players so they don't have to think about that type of stuff.
Right, 100%. That's what it was. The only time it came into question, and early we all followed, later it's got to be like, come on. Like Florida comes in, like then the California teams come in, right? San Jose comes in, Anaheim,
suit in 90-degree heat.
And you got your suit jacket on. You're on a day off and you got your suit jacket on. You would be never have shorts on or anything. It's like you're wearing your suit jacket around. After a while, we're like, okay, can we just wear a golf shirt? Can we just like on the off day? Now, I mean, and listen, I'm glad they do it, but they dress whatever. Now it's like I was shocked.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
When I got traded from New Jersey to San Jose, I'm like, oh, Sam, my first road trip. I'm like, well, I didn't bring a pair of jeans. I didn't bring anything casual. I'm like the guys are like, okay, we're going out. I'm like, I come down in my sport coat and thing, and they're all in jeans and t-shirts. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? I'm like,
who's the nerd
on the road here? Don't we have to wear it? They're like, no, just game days. That's it. I'm like,
okay. The worst.
Now I got to pack more stuff, and I'm a bad packer. So I'm like, I may just stick with the suit. It's easier.
Schneids, you came down to Tampa. I remember meeting you at one of the hotel or something. I was playing in Tampa, Schneids in Jersey. Just 90 degrees. I'm in flip-flops.
And I'm a sweater too. Like I was full on drenched.
Buddy, you couldn't like this. This was the blackest of black suits of all time. You were drenched. I was just like that. But it was like that with Torts too. I mean, we had suits on everywhere, which I didn't have to buy many clothes.
It's true. You said, Johnny, it makes packing easier. You don't have to think about it. You just throw in golf shirts and dress shirts and you're good to go.
Anton Strawman would just bring a toothbrush. If it was like a 2-game trip, he'd bring a toothbrush and he'd have his underwear changed in the gitch bag. I'm like, you got to figure it out.
Johnny, before we let you go, I just want to ask you real quick. I know you guys spend a lot of time down in Florida. Who's the best golfer in your family right now?
My wife.
Oh,
wow.
My wife's scratch.
I like that. She's a scratch.
Yeah.
Is that frustrating or is it awesome? Because you get a good match.
No, what I'm getting frustrated at now is that I'm the shortest hitter. Like she'll play from her tees, and she can, she plays from like the regular tees, and she can hit it. Then I have to play back, and then Kyle and my other son JC will come and play, and they'll be like I have to play back with them, and then they don't hit me with 50 yards. Emma and Mary come and they play the front tees, and they out hit, and then I hit, and I'm like, I'm the first guy hitting here all the time.
I play with Kyle, and he's good. He's a stick.
I'm like, okay, now I'm getting frustrated.
Just gotta roll them in though.
My wife's one. Kyle's probably 2.
He's good.
I'm 4.
Wow, a lot of humility there, though. I like the honesty. You said just be honest. So
I have
that's a blunt assessment.
I have a attention span problem. I'm good for like 15 holes. Like I mean,
I agree with you. Golf should be about 14 to 15 holes.
If it was
like front 7, front back.
I may have a chance, but 18, I'm like, I can't pay attention anymore.
Too long. That's funny. Well, hey, we really appreciate you coming on. This has been great. We could talk for another hour if you let us, but we all got stuff to do. But we really appreciate you, Johnny, and we're looking forward to your Ring of Honor induction. So hope you have a great time with that. Well deserved. Hopefully the fans get to show you their love, because I know you're a great Devil for a long time. So I hope you have a lot of fun with that.
Thank you. I hope that some of them are still alive when I played, but it's a great honor. I'm so thankful for the Devils to be doing this, and I'm looking forward to it. Family's looking forward to it. So it'll be a good night. I really appreciate you guys having me on, and thanks.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Thank you, Johnny.